At Option Genius, we believe that you deserve freedom, financial freedom, so that you have no more worries and more than enough money. Time freedom, so that you could do what you want, when you want to do it. And choice freedom, to live your life on your terms. But the system and Wall Street are rigged against those little guys. So how do we fight back? Well, my friend, that's what this podcast is all about. My name is Alan Sama, and this is the Option Genius Podcast.
Howdy, 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 passive traders. This is Alan Sama back with another episode of the Option Genius Podcast. First of all, I want to say thank you again for listening. Thank you for spending the time with me. Wonderful to be in your ear. And if you're one of our power listeners, I'm going to talk to a fellow this week, Matt, who said he has listened to every episode 3 times. So, Matt, thank you for being a power listener. And for those of you who would like to help the podcast or who have already done it, by leaving a rating and review, I totally appreciate it. It really helps us get the word out there. And if you have not done so, I would please admonish you, I'm asking you nicely, if you could leave a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. So if it's Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to them, just please leave a review and let us know how we're doing. I love to read them, and we'd love to, check them out. So they're a lot of fun. Anyway, this episode is called How I Invest. So I want to do 2 things on this episode. First of all, there's a book that just came out called How I Invest My Money. And so I'm going to give you a review of this book. I just finished it. And then secondly, I always, very often, get asked how I invest my money and how I separate my accounts and what I do with my money. And so I'm going to be sharing that as well at the end. First the review, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing. So that's going to be fun, so stay tuned for that. First of all, there's a guy, Josh Brown. He is almost always on CNBC. He's a lot on NBC. He's a money manager, and he's got a blog. He's pretty popular. He shows up in all of the financial media, and they interview him and stuff. And I like him. He makes a lot of sense. The stuff he talks about whenever he gives advice or whenever he says things, it's always simplified. So doesn't use a lot of Wall Street jargon and stuff. But he looks out, and it seems like he's looking at that particular, whatever they're talking about, he's looking at it from the eyes of an individual, somebody who's working and who's given their money and trying to make sense of the stock market and stuff. And so, I think that I kind of do the same. I think that's something that I have where I can take complicated issues and boil them down and make them really simple to understand and explain them. So I think he does that as well. So it's really great. So one of the things I was watching on CNBC, and the host of the show mentioned that this guy Josh has a new book out, and it's called How I Invest My Money. And so I was like, oh, okay, I need to get that. So I got it right away. And, when I got the book, I was like, okay, I'm going to be excited because, this guy's smart. He's going to tell me what he's doing with his money. And then when I actually got the book, I got even more excited because it's not just one guy. It's 25 different people who are money managers. And they're all explaining how they invest their own personal capital. That's what it says on the. So I'm going to read the jacket, the back cover. It says, "The world of investing normally sees experts telling us the right way to manage our money. How often do these experts pull back the curtain and tell us how they invest their own money? Never. How I Invest My Money changes that. In this unprecedented collection, 25 financial experts share how they navigate markets with their own capital." So I was like, oh, this is exciting. 25 people, and I started reading about some of these people in the book, and they're like, wow, they're all money managers. They're all some very smart. They're from really good institutions, or, they went to good colleges. They have been on CNBC, and they've been on Wall Street Journal, and they've been on Barron's and Reuters, and they've interviewed all these places. Some of them have written books. They have all these letters after their name, so CPFP and XYZ and ABC and all these different letters that are supposed to mean something. And so I was going, I'm really excited. So I read the book, and I will tell you, on a score of 1 to 5, like on Amazon, 1 to 5 stars, I'm going to give it a 1. I don't think you should waste your time or your money on this one. If you can get a 0, probably get a 0, but I think 1 is good. Even if you can give a 0, I think I would still give it a 1. Because these people did seem like they were honestly and openly talking about their own investments. Is that harsh? I don't know. I mean, that's my opinion. And I'm saying that not because they're not nice people, not because they, don't know what they're doing, but these people are holding themselves out as financial experts, right? They are even saying this 25 financial experts. That's what it says on the back of the book. And they go on TV and they go in the radio and they go on articles and newspapers and blogs and they tell people what to do as financial experts. Now, to me, an expert is not somebody who's struggling, but it is somebody who has already reached the goal that I want to get to and that can help me. They've already reached the mountaintop, and they're putting their hand out and saying, here, hold my hand and I'll pull you up. I don't want to hire an expert that is 5 levels below me. Does that make sense? Especially when it comes to money management. Now, like I said, all these people have degrees. They all have appeared on TV and magazine. Many of them have gotten awards, like the 40 Under 40 award in their financial whatever, it's a financial money manager award. 40 Under 40 in financial management. That means they've been managing money for around 10 years, which is, we've been in a bull market for 10 years. So these experts have never even traded or invested or managed money in a bear market, in a really tough market. Yeah, we had Corona. We had the March Corona bear market, but that doesn't really count because we bounced right up in a month, right? None of these people even remember the dot-com bubble. They weren't, I don't know, they were like, what, 8 years old, the dot-com bubble? They don't remember the SNL scandal in the 20s and how that happened. They don't remember what happened when in the 70s, when inflation was super sky high. Now, maybe they read books about it, but to me, that's not really an expert. They don't have the experience to back it up. Now, I'm not that old either. I'm 44. So I'm a little bit older than some of these people. But I do remember what it was like trading my own money through the Great Recession. Now, I didn't play with other people's money. That was my own money that was on the line. These people, they don't play with their own money. They risk your money because they're managers. They're not investors. They're not traders. They're not wealth creators, right? So if you're looking for a really great financial advice or strategies, this is not the book. I would say that out of all these 25 experts, I would say only 3 of them are actually really wealthy. 3 of them could be defined to me as a financial expert. Someone who is wealthy. And by wealthy, I mean that they could stop working today and they have enough income and assets so that they don't have to work for the rest of their lives. That is wealthy. That to me is the goal. The goal is not for me to retire at 70 years old and hope the money lasts for the rest of my life. That's the goal for these people. For most of these people, that's what they help people do. That's not the kind of expert I was expecting. So that's why I'm a little ticked. Out of the 3 in the book that are really wealthy, one of them got lucky with venture capital. He has a management company where he is a partner in the money management company. He doesn't do any of the money management. He is a partner. He made an investment in a money management company, but he's really a venture capitalist. The second guy, he made all of his money in real estate. He admits it. He's like, yeah, I don't do this. He has another, he's a partner in a money management company. And that's how they made it into the book. But he made all his money in real estate. So he wouldn't know how to manage money anyway. Jeez. I mean, I don't think you should hold yourself out as an expert until you've actually achieved the thing that you're an expert in, right? If you're a wealth advisor, you got to have some wealth in order to be a freaking advisor about wealth. The one thing that all these people said in the book is that almost all of them own their own business. I think all of them own their own business. And for them, that is their largest investment and their largest asset. And that's really cool. That's great. You're a small business owner. Or somebody, they're doing really well. So it's a medium business owner. So these folks, they make money by managing other people's money. They don't make it by investing or trading. They spend most of their time looking for new clients. And that's probably why they agreed to be in the book, for the exposure. It's like being on TV. They get exposure. People see them and like, oh, this person sounds smart. Maybe I should call them up and see if they can take care of my money. So most of these people spend their time looking for exposure, looking to do marketing, looking to make new clients. They need more clients so that they can have more assets to manage, so they can make more money. And then when they get a client, what do? Do they manage the money? Do they trade it, invest it? Do they come up with a real good plan? Well, they try to come up with a plan, but then they put the money in investments. that are managed by others. So they're like the middlemen. And that's definitely not the advisor that I would want. If I have a goal and say, hey, I need to get to this location, I want to get advice and directions from a person who's already been there before, who knows the pitfalls, who's been there, done it, hopefully multiple times. That's the kind of person I want giving me directions and leading the way. I'll follow that person, right? There was one girl in this, bless her heart. She is a financial expert, like everybody else in the book, giving advice to everybody. And then she admits that she is saving money in a savings account at her bank, hoping that when she turns 40, she'll be able to afford a trip to Hawaii. That's not what I was expecting when they say financial expert. Somebody who can't afford a trip to Hawaii doesn't really have total, what's the word? The total control of their finances. You're not there yet. I mean, you're working hard, you're struggling. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. That's awesome. Save that money and go. Or, if you're listening to this, I got some frequent flyer miles, baby. Just reach out to me. I'll give it to you. I'll send you on your trip, on your flight to Hawaii. Really, please. It just broke my heart when I read that. I was like, man. But, they say that money management, the whole business of money management, is where people that drive Toyotas are giving advice to people who own Rolls Royces. And it's true. 100% true. That is why the retirement situation in this country is so screwed up. You got the blind leading the blind. And these people, the ones in this book, they're not average money managers. They're the top of the class, the cream of the crop, right? They've won all the awards. Imagine if you don't have one of these money managers and you just have an average money manager. Ouch. That's really sad. You get some guy from Edward Jones or Ameriprise or something like that. Oh my goodness, that's painful. But what the co-author of the book, and I said, Josh Brown is listed as the author, but he does have a co-author, and it does seem that the book was done by the co-author. Josh Brown probably just wrote one little section, but it does look that the co-author did all the work and got all these information from all these people. At the end, he tells you what you should take away from the book. And he says that these are people just like you and me. They have struggles, They have to go through life just like all of us. And that the important thing is not the money. Money is not that important. But the other things that we value is the most important thing in life. And that's great. That's great advice. I love that advice, that money's not that important. But if it was coming from a life coach, that would make a lot more sense. Maybe a spiritual advisor, that would make a lot more sense. Not from a wealth advisor, okay? Not from someone who's managed or entrusted to manage and grow my financial assets. Does that make sense? It's kind of like the doctor, telling you, well, getting healthy, I know that's my job, getting you healthy and keeping you healthy, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is spending time with your family. Yeah, doc, I know that, but your job is to keep me healthy. Can you do your job or not? Or do I need to go find another doctor? Same thing with these guys. If you're not wealthy as an advisor, how are you going to make anybody else wealthy? You can't. And that's why most of them are putting their money in like passive investments. Not passive trading, but passive as in index funds. And they say that. They're like, oh, I'm a firm believer in index funds. People give me money, I put it in an ETF. People give me money, I put it in a bond fund. They can do that on their own. Why do they need you, Mr. Financial Expert? Vanguard is open to anybody. Anybody can open an account at Vanguard, put their money away. And if they don't want to invest, or they don't want to trade, or they don't care, or they don't know anything about the market, they don't want to know, then that's the great place. They should go put it in Vanguard, and they don't need a money manager charging them fees for no reason. After reading this book, it really makes me value what we are doing here at Option Genius. Teaching people about passive trading and how, it's actually making a difference in people's lives. I mentioned earlier that I talked to a fellow named Matt earlier. And this guy, super nice guy, works at Costco, drives a forklift. He's a hard-working guy, right? But he spent the last year learning how to trade options. Why? Because it can make a difference in his life. He's at the point now where he made $500 in a month by selling options. And it blew his mind. That $500 opened up a whole new world, gave him hope that other financial experts are not providing. So we don't have just, passive trading is just not a book. It's not just a couple of words. It's not a trademark. It's an actual movement. And we are changing people's lives. After reading all this and looking at, what these people are doing, I think it might be time for me to start a money management firm because people need better choices. It might just be time for me to do that. Nobody else is stepping up. Might as well do it then. Jeez, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the book. Don't get it. Don't waste your time. Now, let's get on to me, right? How I invest. This is a question that I get asked all the time. People are like, hey, Alan, you're telling us to do this and do that, and do you actually do all this stuff? I'm like, yeah, of course I do all this stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you to do something I don't do myself, right? So a few episodes ago, I did a show on scaling. I talked about vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, and I explained about a mistake I made. I don't know if it was a mistake, but it was just the way my situation was, where I started off with several different trading accounts. Many of them were retirement accounts, but because of that, they were very small. So I had several small accounts. When you have small accounts, it's harder to have 100 shares so that you can actually go and sell covered calls or naked puts, right? You can still do spreads. You can own a few shares, but if you take all that money, put it together in one account, it's a lot easier to make it grow. But that's my situation. It is what it is, right? So I'll tell you right now, I have currently 14 different accounts that I manage directly. I got retirement accounts. So these are, I have a Roth IRA. My wife has one. My 3 kids have a Roth IRA. I don't qualify. I make too much to put money in the Roth IRA. So now I've opened regular IRA accounts for me and my wife. So that's what, 4, 5, 6, 7 accounts right there. Then I have several SEP accounts that I have for 3 different companies that I worked at. Probably should consolidate those, just haven't gotten around to it. So 10 accounts are just retirement accounts. And then I also have an HSA account that I can manage. We have other accounts that I just oversee, like the kids 529 plans. I don't get to manage that, so that's fine. I also have, well, let me tell you what I do in the retirement accounts. In the retirement accounts, it's just passive trading, straight up. High quality stocks that pay dividends. The dividends are reinvested automatically. You go into your account, you check the box and say, yes, I want dividends reinvested automatically. I don't even want to deal with it. And then I sell options on these stocks for extra yield. So whether it's covered calls or naked puts, sometimes even credit spreads once in a while. But in the retirement accounts, it's basically plain vanilla, simple passive trading. Okay. And these accounts have been growing and they're growing and growing. Not to, and got to the point where, there's a lot of money in these accounts. Man, maybe I need to be diversified, right? Have a little less money in the stock market. In addition to these, I also have 2 accounts where I trade oil options exclusively. So I enjoy trading oil options. It's one of the programs that we offer. And so these 2 accounts are for that. One's a small one that I use in our class, and then the other one's a larger one. I also have a regular trading account that I use for my membership trades. So we have 3 memberships at Option Genius that you can join. We give trades or those. We have Option Genius, the advisory. We have Simon Says Options and Weekly Trading System. All of those give trades every month. So I do every single one of those trades in my own account with real money. Basically I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So if I give you a losing trade, you can know I lost money on it too. I think that's only fair. Unlike a lot of other gurus and whatnot that, don't really trade, I'm actually doing the trade. And then I have a trading account that is a much larger trading account that I'm putting more money into. So I want that one to really, really grow. And then in addition to that, I have another trading account that is a managed account. So it's friends. I'm managing that account and I have complete access to do whatever I want in that account. All right. In addition to that, I do have a partnership in a real estate investment company. So that is basically me and my friend, a friend of mine, actually, sorry. And what he does is he does the work, I put up the money. So he goes and he finds houses that are beaten up, broken down, and he'll buy them, fix them, and then flip them. And then now we're adding rentals to that. So if we don't sell the property right away, then we will rent the house out. And now we're generating passive income from the rental of the houses as well. Secondly, in real estate, I have an investment in a land fund. So this is a friend of mine. He's been in real estate for over a decade, maybe 2 decades now. the last 4 years, he's been doing something that he calls, I don't know if it's called land flipping, but something similar to that, where he goes out and he will buy huge amounts of acreage of raw land. So maybe 200, 300 acres. He'll negotiate it, buy that, and then he will subdivide it into small tracts. So like 10 acres each, like a little ranch. And then he will sell those to individuals. So he takes, he goes out and buys a whole big thing and cuts it up into little pieces and then sells those little pieces off. And he can double or triple his money every time he does that. So he's been doing really, really well the last few years. And then he decided that, you know what? He doesn't have enough money to make it grow really big. So he started a fund in order to get money from other investors so that he can do really, really bigger deals. So instead of doing like $1 million deal or $2 million deal, now you can do $5 million deals. So he raised some money for that. I invested in there. He pays me 15% a year. That's a good investment. I don't have to do anything. I'm diversified. He's going to pay that money because that's what he has agreed to. And then is it risky to invest in a fund for somebody else that somebody else is managing? I think it is. You got to always have the mindset of what could go wrong. And in this situation, I gave him the money because A, I know this guy. I've known him for a long time. That doesn't mean he can't, rip me off and take the money and run. But B, this guy is a very meticulous person. So he looks at all the numbers. He's got spreadsheets for everything. He knows down to the penny what his net worth is, and he tracks it all the time. And so he is very careful about every single penny that he spends and what the fund spends. And so I trust him. He's been a good friend. And he's very meticulous, exactly the way I would want somebody to be managing money to be. And he showed me the results that he's been doing. He's been doing amazing. He showed me the numbers. He's like, black and white, look, this is what we're doing. We just want to do more of it. And so the money's been in there for a couple of years now, and he's been doing amazing. So he makes a lot more. He pays me 15%. I'm happy with it. I also have investments in cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin. That's been doing well. I want to buy more if it comes back down right now. It's pretty high, but eventually I think in the long term it's going to go much higher. So I have that. And then I do have ownership in some small businesses. So I like to help people that are looking to start up their own business. And so if they have a good idea, maybe if they have some experience, people have come to me and say, hey, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. And I love marketing. That's my thing. I enjoy trading a lot, but I really enjoy marketing and psychology. So I tell them, okay, I'll invest with you. I'll give you some money. You're going to run the business, and I'm going to help with the marketing. And so that's what I did with my other friend with the real estate investment company. He came to me and said, hey, I would like to start flipping houses, but I don't have the money. So I'm like, okay, I can put up the money. We'll do half and half. You do the work, I'll put up the money. So I have other businesses that I'm also invested in, and I get income from there. So the other question that I often get, so that's how I've invested my money. That's what the different things we have. The question I get is, Alan, do you actually make money from trading, or do you get it from your company, Option Genius? Well, it's a tricky question because I do both, right? Option Genius is growing and it's doing well. It's helping people. And the only reason we're growing is because we're helping people. And I believe that our prices are relatively cheap compared to what other people are charging for inferior information. And so, but we're doing well. Do I take out the money from my trading accounts to live off of? Yes and no. If you go back to the beginning episodes, I talked about the 5-finger strategy where you got to have 5 different sources of income. So that if any one gets cut off, you're still okay. You got the 4 other income sources, and then the 5th one hopefully will grow back. The other thing you can do when you have that is that if one of them is doing really, really well, you don't have to take the money out. So my trading accounts, the last several years, have been doing amazingly well. Last year was a record-breaking year. So I'm just letting the money sit in there and grow and grow and grow, and I don't need to take it out to live because I have the other sources, right? Now, it wasn't always like that. In the beginning, I was living off the trading. Now, I just live off whatever cash flow is coming in. If I don't need to take the money out of the trading accounts, I can let them grow. If the stock market starts dropping, then yeah, I'm going to take that money out and I'm going to live off that money. I'm going to take it out and use it. That's fine. But if something is growing, like if I have a new business that I invest in, right, and it starts doing well, I don't want to take that money out. I want that money to be reinvested in the business so that the business continues to grow. It doesn't make a lot of sense to take, oh yeah, I own 50% of this business, or I own 25% of this business. I want my money out. I want to, if we made X dollars every month, I want 25% of that. That's not going to help the business grow. You can do that technically. Yes, fine. If you need to, you do it. But if you don't have to, that doesn't make any sense. Reinvest the money back into whatever's working. Let it grow. Because what I've seen is that there are seasons. I've talked about the waves. Things are going to be going really, really good, and then they're going to not be going good. And they're going to go down, and they're going to get worse. And you're going to, oh my God, it can't get any worse. And then that's when things start getting better. So while things are going good, you got to keep, your foot to the pedal. Or the foot to the floor. Whatever. Put the pedal to the floor. There we go. Put the pedal to the floor while things are going good. And then when they stop, when they slow down, that's when you can reevaluate. And be like, all right, what am I going to do? And that's when you take the money out. So it's really a tricky question. Hopefully, I've tried being as open as I can. Hopefully this helps you. And, in the beginning, everybody's not going to have this much. You're not going to have all that. It's taken me a while, several years, to get to this point, where I have so many different accounts and the investments in real estate and the investment in other companies and the investment in other investments in other funds, whatever. So it does take a while. Don't think that you're going to get there right away. In the beginning, it's just, hey, let me find one strategy that works. Let me start generating some cash. And if you need the money, you can take it out. If you're already retired, there's no reason to make that account grow, right? Whatever you make, take it out. Take it out. Enjoy it. But if you're like my friend Matt, who's still in his 40s, he's still working, he's making $500 a month from options, put that money back in the account. Leave it there. Keep it growing. Keep it growing. Let the compound interest grow and let it compound your account into tons and tons of money, exponential growth. So that's my 2 cents for this episode. Hope you found it valuable. And remember, always trade with the odds in your favor. Take care.
Are you ready to get started with passive trading and be a consistent and confident and profitable trader, generating cash flow consistently from the stock market? Well, I have some great news for you. For a limited time, we are offering my new book, Passive Trading, for free. All you got to do is go to passivetrading.com/free book, and we will send you the book in the mail for free as long as you cover the postage and handling. So if you can cover that, we'll send you the book for free. We've already printed it. We got it for you. We're going to send it out to you. It's free. All you got to do is just go to passivetrading.com/free book and learn the basics of passive trading. Get the behind the scenes, get some examples, learn the strategies, and put this stuff to work in your life right now. Remember, go to passivetrading.com/free book and get yours now while this offer is still available.